Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of I Am Latoya Renee. If you are new here, welcome. If you've been here before, hey y'all. Today, I just want to talk about what I've learned throughout my GLP-1 journey with the gym.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Still not understanding.
I first want to start out with why I embarked on this journey, why I started on this journey. I want to give you a little bit of a backstory. So at 230 pounds, I finally had said, enough is enough. I can't continue on this path. I was hanging in the low 200s for a very long time. And then I developed a fibroid and I had a hip surgery, and just after that the weight just escalated very, very quickly and went from the low 200 or like 202, 205 and jumped all the way up to 230, and I was like, absolutely not. This is not okay. This is not the life that I am choosing. And so I ended up hearing rumblings at my job about people on GLP-1 meds and things like that. And I didn't know a ton about it. So I started doing my own research. And then I finally found someone who was on the med that was willing to talk and share and give some insight. And it opened my mind. So I was like, okay, my annual checkup's coming up. I'm going to ask my doc about it. So I went into my annual checkup knowing that I was going to ask what he thought about my weight and also what we can do about it. And when I told him that I was interested specifically in Wegovy, he was super excited. He is very knowledgeable about the medication. He has several people on it. He's seen some great success, and he thought that I would be a really great candidate for it due to my age, my health history, and the fact that I was already active in the gym and working out and things like that. Like that was already part of my day-to-day life. And so he thought that I'd be a great candidate for it. And he educated me on honestly how they stumbled across the effects of GLP-1 medications and things like that, and just gave me some history. And then he wrote the prescription. And so once that happened, I went in, found out through my insurance how much it would cost, found a coupon that I think was supposed to last 13 months that covered the remaining balance. So I was super excited, and I got my GLP-1 med like a day or two after seeing my doc. And so that's how I ended up on it. My mindset going in was that this may work, but it may not. We'll see. We'll just see. What did being on Wegovy at the time, what did that help me with? That definitely helped me with feeling full faster. It suppressed my appetite, and it kind of made me be more picky about what I chose to eat, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to eat everything that I would like to eat in a sitting, if that makes sense. Once I started on my GLP-1 journey, I realized and learned quickly that the role of the gym was going to slightly shift. Before, I was going to the gym because I was just trying to lose weight. I just wanted to lose weight. Well, once I got on Wegovy, I realized, okay, that is doing the weight part. That is taking care of the fat. I have to work on endurance, stamina, flexibility, and muscle growth. And so that's what I started using the gym for. I also used the gym to reshape my body. So not just shrinking, if you will, but also toning. The gym also was helpful because it helped preserve muscle mass while I was essentially in a calorie deficit. What surprised me is that weight loss on a GLP-1 med is not linear. It also surprised me that you still have to have the same amount of discipline with your workouts. And if you're someone who doesn't work out, you've got to have the discipline or find it somewhere to start working out if you want your body to shape up a certain way. And I also realized that gym motivation isn't automatic. You still have to choose to show up. You still have to choose to, work on your body and not just let this medication do it for you. I learned that there were going to be a lot of plateaus and stalls, and that a lot of your GLP-1 journey is your mindset. I very clearly remember, and I'm pretty confident I have a video where I talked about this a lot, where I was seeing the scale drop, but I didn't believe that I was losing weight. And that was when I was still in the 200s. I think it was like I hit like 219, and so I lost like 11 pounds, and I was like, it says that, but I don't believe it, and I don't see it, and so it must not be happening. I very clearly remember that, and I very clearly remember like thinking, it's just water weight. Oh, that's just water weight. Like, my mind was so like stuck on the fact that I'm 230 and it's possible that I'm going to remain 230. And it took me a while. I want to say, I think it was at one point that I was like, well, once I hit like I think it was like 213. I was like, once I hit 213, I'll believe it. Once I hit 210, I'll believe it. Once I hit 200, I'll believe it. So I was surprised at the mental aspect, the mental component of it. And it was something that I did talk to my therapist about throughout the journey, is the mental shift that you're making as you lose weight, because you're so used to your being a certain thing or at a certain weight or whatever. So to see that change, it is a mental shift that you have to make. Something that being on the GLP-1 journey plus exercising did do for me that I didn't realize it was going to do for me. Of course it makes sense that it would build your confidence, especially once you lose like a massive amount or something like that, or maybe you're able to get into an outfit that you hadn't been able to get into in forever. But it also pushed me to focus even more on my health, even more on the way my body looked, even more on just becoming my best self, and not in a obsessive way, not in a way where I, can't gain a pound, or I can't, all these different things where it's unhealthy. It made me think, or made me feel like, Toya, now's the time that you can build the body that you like. You want your arms to be more toned? Let's do it. You want your glutes to sit up higher? Let's do it. You want your quads to be good and strong, and for your hip to get stronger because you had a hip surgery and it's still weak, and you want to build that strength up? Let's do it. It, like I said earlier, gave me the stamina to do things in the gym. It, like, particularly now that I've lost over 70 pounds, I am, like, at this very moment, I'm in a jumpsuit that I was wearing after I gave birth to my kids, and my kids are 9. This is a jumpsuit that I wore because I'm pretty close to what I weighed after giving birth to my twins. That makes me feel like, Toy, you can't deny the fact that you've lost this weight. You can't mentally say, oh, it's just this, or oh, it's water weight, or oh, it's whatever. Like, no, sis, you wearing something you forgot you even had. It's been vacuum sealed in a bag forever because you hadn't been able to get into it forever. And so that definitely builds your confidence. It definitely makes you feel good, and it also makes you really want to maintain it. I will say that during this journey, I did have to learn that people are going to be jealous. They're going to hate. And that's something that I'm learning like right now in real time, because now it's undeniable that I've lost the weight. Now it's in everyone's face that I've lost the weight, and now people feel like they can be more vocal about their opinions about me losing the weight. Before, I was kind of hiding it, still wearing clothes that were, big or whatever. But now, specifically, more so now that it's warmer outside and, you know, you can show a little more skin, people can see. And then also too, I've started here and there buying new clothes to fit the body that I am now, instead of just making the clothes that I wore when I was a size 16 work. And so I've learned that people are not gonna bite their tongue, and that's okay. They can have their opinion. They can think what they want to think. They can say what they want to say. At the end of the day, it has no weight on how I see myself, my self-worth, or anything. Like, if that were the case, people keep telling me I'm too thin, or people keep telling me I'm going to waste away and they're going to bring me a plate. You know what I mean? Like, if I let that really, like, fester and just, like, sit in my brain, I would overeat. I would stop going to the gym. I'd really, like, mess up all this work that I've put into myself and really think, oh my gosh, I'm too small. I need to gain weight. I need to do this, that, and the other. When in reality, that's their own insecurities. That's their own internal things that they need to work through. Because why do you even feel the need to say things that can be perceived as negative, you know what I mean, to someone? And why are you even concerned? And the fact of the matter is I'm not too small. My BMI is 24. I'm not too small. I could go even smaller if I really wanted to. I love the way I look. For the first time in a long time, y'all, I just be in the bathroom looking at myself naked, just looking like, you look good, sis. Now, I will say at the same time, now my mindset's not on losing weight. It's more on, you know, toning and, ooh, if my butt was sitting up a little higher, if whatever. So, I mean, sure, there's probably always going to be this thing where, you know, you want to fix something. At least I feel like it's attainable and it's achievable now, because the bulk of the fat that was blocking those things from really, like, being visible and happening, bulk of that's gone. So that is nice. But I definitely learned that people are gonna hate, and it's something that I should have already known, realized, whatever, but it didn't, like, really dawn on me until recently, when people just, like, where it became conversation, where one person said something and the whole room wanted to talk about it, you know, which is insane if you think about it. As far as nutrition is concerned, what I learned on the GLP-1 journey is that GLP-1 is not a hall pass to eat whatever you want to eat. It is not that at all. If anything, it is a, you know, tool to help you focus on, okay, I'm only going to be able to eat this amount of food today. I need to pick the best options for me. Because if all I'm going to be able to get in today is, you know, the size of one dinner for the day, I need to be making sure I'm getting protein, fruits, veggies, all the things, and making it count. I learned that there could be some social pressure, people wanting you to explain why you didn't get a second helping, why you didn't try my baked beans, why you didn't eat my mac and cheese, why you just eating this or whatever. And I've learned on this journey that it's none of their business. It's none of their business, and you do not have to explain a thing. I also learned from a nutrition standpoint the difference between fueling your body and restricting your body. I think with a lot of, like, weight loss diets and things like that, you're working on restricting. But on a GLP-1 med, you have, you know, all the chances in the world to focus on just fueling your body. On this GLP-1 journey, I did learn that there were going to be some challenges, particularly as it relates to supply and cost and things like that. If you've been here a minute, you know that I started on Wegovy. I didn't pay for Wegovy at all when I was on it, by the grace of God. There were a couple of times where maybe I couldn't get the med right when I wanted to get it, but I eventually got it. I didn't have to wait weeks and months and all these things like some people that I know did. I was very fortunate with that. But eventually my insurance was like, if you want this medication, you're gonna have to pay us more. Like, you're gonna have to go up a couple of tiers. And so I had to make some tough choices, and I decided, that I wasn't willing to do that, and that, I can set aside more money on my health savings account card and, budget for it in that way, particularly because I knew I didn't want to be on the GLP-1 journey like for years or anything like that. So I made the decision to increase the amount of money I was putting into my health savings account, and just pay for it out of pocket. Now, when I say pay for it out of pocket, I did not pay for Wegovy out of pocket. I paid for compounded semaglutide out of pocket, which is essentially the active ingredient, if you will, in Wegovy, and I got it from a compounding pharmacy. I was fortunate that my doctor, they were just like, okay, we'll send the script to whatever compounding pharmacy works best for you. And so I called around, found out how much different compounding pharmacies were charging, and found one that worked best for me. They sent the prescription. I've been getting it from there ever since. Now, it was a costly decision. I've, since being on the compounded semaglutide journey, I was paying anywhere from $300 to $450 a month, which I know is a huge sticker shock. But I knew I wasn't going to be on it for too terribly long, so I just bumped up, $1,000 or so, what I would normally put in my health savings account, to meet that cost. What I learned on this journey and what I would tell myself a year ago is this. Number one, be patient. Be patient with yourself. You can hop on the internet and see people who lost 50 pounds in 3 months, or you can find people who lost 10 pounds in 10 days and things like that. And that is absolutely amazing for them. But that is likely not going to be your journey. You didn't get here overnight, so you should not expect all of this to go away overnight. And in fact, you probably don't want it all to go away overnight, because then you're going to be looking at the potential for loose skin and things like that, not giving your body enough time to adjust to the weight loss, and then create more issues after losing the weight, like not being satisfied with your skin and things like that. Now, granted, genetics plays a huge role in that. Some of the folks that I've seen who have lost a lot of weight really fast are unsatisfied with their body even more now because they have excess skin. With that being said, just be patient with yourself and don't compare. Comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare. I think something else that I would tell myself, but not really tell myself, but make sure I tell others, it's that progress is far greater than perfection. So many people are seeking perfection. Perfection does not exist, okay? But progress is something that you can track, something that you can feel proud about, and that's all we're seeking, right? Is to keep moving forward. So just forget about perfection and focus on progress. I'd also tell myself that the scale does not define success. How you feel defines your success. I personally, my joints do not hurt as much as they used to. I used to have pretty significant joint pain when I was in the 200 plus category, particularly my hips, and not so much my knees, but my hips, and in my shoulders. Used to constantly have pain, used to take pain medication every other day, sometimes every day. It was rough, and I don't have those issues anymore. If I'm having pain, it's because, like I said before, and like many of you already know, I had a labrum tear in my right hip at the very end of 2023, had that repaired, still working on regaining that strength in that hip. So if anything, I have pain there, and that's to be expected. But it's nothing like what it was when I was just obese. So I am grateful for that. Where I am now is physically, I feel like a new person. And mentally, I feel like a new person, or a better person. Let's say that. My confidence is through the roof. I mean, something so small, and I'm just going to say this because, you know, this really may help someone. But the fact that I can sit in my car, I've got a leg up, and I can pull my knee up here. I could not do that at 2:30. I couldn't. My flexibility wasn't there. Quite honestly, I probably would have had to scoot my seat back some more and to have the room to do this. I am much more comfortable in my body. I'm able to move my body in ways that I wasn't before. I have no trouble scratching any part of my back or lotioning any part of my back. I can reach it now. Mentally, I am a little sad because my GLP-1 journey, as y'all know, is ending very soon. I think I have 1 dose left in the fridge. And so that's kind of like bittersweet because I've been doing this for almost a year, y'all. But at the same time, it's encouraging because I did that for almost a year. And look at me now. You know what I mean? Like, look at me now. I may need to drop like a picture of myself this time last year for you guys to see just how amazing this medication was for me. And how it has transformed my life. I mean, I don't know if y'all can see me. Y'all can see me. I'm like a size 8. I was a size 16. And I feel good. If you're starting this journey, know that change is in fact possible. You're not lazy. You're not broken. Like, take those thoughts and throw them far, far away. Sometimes you just need the right tools and some extra support. And for me, the right tool for this point in my life was a GLP-1 medication. So basically, if you're thinking about this journey, I would highly suggest do your research, not just on YouTube University, but also with trusted healthcare professionals, trusted healthcare providers. Talk to people that you trust and, you know, value their opinion, who may have already been on the journey. Do as much research as you need to do to feel comfortable. Know your own self. Know what are your comorbidities. What are some things that may make your journey look differently from someone else's. I feel like it's necessary with saying that for me to point out that I don't have and did not have any comorbidities. I wasn't hypertensive. I wasn't diabetic or pre-diabetic. I didn't have any of those ailments that are typically associated with obesity, but I was obese. You know, my BMI was 35 and it did not feel good. And it felt like we were going down a path that was going to lead to comorbidities that I may or may not have been able to correct later in life. I was having trouble sleeping laying flat. I was sleeping on 2, sometimes 3 pillows to be able to breathe and sleep at the same time. And so I was pretty confident that I, you know, probably was going to need a sleep study and probably had some obstructive sleep apnea. And as a respiratory therapist, I know one of the main ways you can combat that is lose that weight off your organs. And so in the beginning videos, you know, you heard me talk about visceral fat a lot. That's the fat around your organs. That was a major concern for me. And the reason it was a concern is because I was worried that I was developing sleep apnea. But with that being said, know your body, talk to people you trust, get all the information you need in order to make the decision on whether or not this is the best move for you. Be patient with yourself if it is the journey that you're going to embark on. Don't compare. You can use the content that you find online as guides, but don't expect your journey to be just like someone else's. Don't expect your journey to be just like mine. I would highly suggest not necessarily creating long form videos to document and keep up with your journey, but if you like journaling, journal about your journey. If you like taking pictures, take pictures in the same outfit throughout your journey to see your progress. I wish I would have done that. I didn't do that, but I felt like, oh, you're doing videos, so, you know, that's good enough. I wish I would have done like wore the same outfit for months and months in front of a mirror to see it better, but document your journey in some way. I think it'll be really helpful for you. It's been super helpful for me being on the back end of my weight loss journey, because I've been able to go back, look at shorts, look at videos and say, oh my gosh, my face is like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, I do look different. And so much so that my children don't recognize me in my older videos. Like, we just talked about that this past weekend. Like, they're like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I was like, I know, baby. That don't look like me now. They're like, no, it doesn't. So document it. I think that's like huge. And just be patient with yourself and give yourself grace. And you're just going to be fine. You will. I know you will. If you like the content that I'm offering to you, I want to make sure that you know that liking and subscribing is going to be the best way to find out about the latest and greatest information that I post. I feel like pretty frequently, and so I don't want you to miss a thing with that. So definitely like and subscribe, leave comments, chat with one another in the comments. I think that this is a safe space for a lot of folks. I would say that I think 85% of the people who view my content got here off of a GLP-1 or Wegovy video. So know that people that are here, that are commenting, that are looking in the comments and things like that, they're here probably for the same reason that you are. And so this is a good place for you to get more information, get some support, things like that, and just become your absolute best self. You know what I mean? My journey moving forward into the summer is going to be keeping the weight off. So I look forward to documenting that, and hopefully helping someone else out here with that same thing. So stay tuned for that, guys. I will see you guys very, very, very soon. I hope this video made sense. Bye.